Let's get an update now on the fate of the COVID-19 relief bill, the threat of a government shutdown, and the hand-wringing up on Capitol Hill. Our congressional correspondent Phil Mattingly is tracking all of this for us. Phil, the president's demand to increase stimulus checks is putting members of his own party in a real bind. What's the latest?
Yeah, no question about it. Well, Wolf, the bill itself is physically on its way to the president. It is being flown as we speak to Florida for the president to decide what he wants to do. What we don't know is what he will do. Now, today, House Democrats attempted by unanimous consent, as you noted, Wolf, to try and expand those direct payments to $2,000 as the president requested. Republicans blocked it. Republicans are also expected to mostly vote against a similar bill in an up or down fashion on Monday. Senate Republicans making clear there aren't the votes in the Senate to expand checks to that level. All of this, Wolf, underscoring this reality at this moment. There is no alternative. There is no secret plan B. There is the president needs to sign this bill or there's no other option. That's basically what I'm being told by Democrats and Republicans. Everybody waiting to see. And Wolf, a couple things to keep in mind here. One, this isn't just a COVID relief package. This is also funding for the government through the fiscal year. There will be a government shutdown on Monday if the president does not sign the bill. And obviously the stakes, Jeremy hit at them, the 12 to 13 million people that would lose unemployment benefits on December 26th. You have increased food aid. You have the extension of the eviction moratorium. All of the different pieces of this puzzle here trying to provide a safety net for Americans hurting right now from the coronavirus pandemic and the economic aftershocks from that. Right now, though, all in the hands of the president, with nobody really sure what he's going to do, Wolf.
Yeah, millions and millions of Americans are going to suffer right after Christmas unless something gets done and done right away. All right, Phil, stay with us. I want to bring back our White House correspondent, Jeremy Diamond, along with Jackie Alemany, the author of the Washington Post newsletter, Power Up. Jackie, let's talk about what's going on right now. We could be ending 2020, hard to believe, with a government shutdown, millions of Americans losing critical pandemic benefits, a wave of evictions all across the country. Does President Trump understand the real implications, the disaster of derailing this deal?
I think this president does understand, but what I think we can deduce from his actions over the past few weeks and really, quite frankly, since the election, is that this president does not care about lighting everything on fire on his way out with just, 27 days until Inauguration Day. This obviously is not a game, as Phil and Jeremy both noted. Millions of Americans are on the precipice of a benefit and an eviction cliff. There's food assistance on the line here, an eviction moratorium, lots of really consequential things. But this doesn't stop the president from waiting until the 11th hour and playing games, quite frankly. House Democrats, however, do agree with the president's push to include more money in the stimulus package, and that would be increasing the direct payments to $2,000. Aides have told the Washington Post that right now it's 50-50, with things looking slightly less than 50% potentially. It's really a crapshoot up in the air what this president is going to do, but regardless, things are hanging in the balance, potentially in disarray, and Americans' well-being's on the line.
Yeah, House Democrats would love that $2,000 stimulus check for so many millions of Americans. The problem is a lot of House Republicans and plenty of Senate Republicans don't want to even get close to that number. Phil, the White House says President Trump is working tirelessly for the American people, but once again today was out playing golf down in Palm Beach County, not far from Mar-a-Lago at his golf club down there. Does that leave Congress to try to clean up this mess? Can they really clean it up?
Yeah, the answer is no, and I think that's the issue right now. That's the biggest problem that I've heard repeatedly from lawmakers and their top aides who are very frustrated at this moment, is they don't feel like there's anything they can do. You take how long it actually took for them to reach agreement on COVID relief. Almost 8 months. It's been just a disastrous effort for so many weeks at a time that never went anywhere. They finally figured out a way to thread the needle. And while it's not enough for many people, it's too much for some people, it was enough to get plenty of votes in both the House and the Senate. Reopening the package simply isn't an option based on what I'm being told right now. And so Congress, for all of its capability, for the intelligence of its staff members, for what it can do legislatively, is kind of in a bind right now. Everybody, Wolf, really is in wait-and-see mode, and perhaps wait and see, will they have to override a veto? Perhaps wait and see, will they have to try and keep the government open against the president's wishes? But mostly just hoping and praying, and those are the words I keep hearing from multiple aides on both sides of the aisle. It's hope and pray time right now that the president decides once he receives that bill off that airplane later tonight, he actually decides to sign it at some point over the course of the next couple days.
So Jeremy, who has the president's ear now that he's down at his residence at Mar-a-Lago in Palm Beach? Is there anyone left who can reason with the president?
Well, I don't know about people who can reason with the president, but there certainly will be a lot of people in the president's ear as he spends the holidays here at his resort at Mar-a-Lago. This is the place where the president's advisors, White House advisors, get the most nervous. And that is because the president is around so many people, so many of his acquaintances and friends from the Palm Beach area, as well as his political allies who come down here when he is here as well in order to try and bend his ear and influence his decision making. And obviously, at a time when the president is already in such a volatile state about overturning the 2020 election, there is an enormous concern, I have to say, about what those people who are going to be in his ear, how that will affect the president's behavior. And I think, Wolf, it is also remarkable to see that at a time when you have so many millions of Americans who are out of work, who are slipping into poverty, the president not only golfing, but also not taking the time to focus on trying to renegotiate this bill, not taking the time to do what many presidents do around the holidays, to go to a food pantry or to try and help struggling Americans. We are seeing none of that from the president. Instead, his priorities seem to be all about himself, whether it is issuing these pardons that bring him a sense of gratification and that help his political allies, or whether it is these efforts to overturn an election that he lost and he refuses to accept.
And Jackie, the president, he is clearly ramping up the pressure on his allies to try to fight the results of the election, including the pressure on the vice president. That could put him in a very, very uncomfortable position. We're talking about Mike Pence, couldn't it?
Yeah, it could, exactly. But look, I think we really need to state up front, the president and his allies have already lost upwards of 40 legal challenges in seeking to subvert the 2020 election results that President-elect Joe Biden decisively won a month ago. But this president has continued to spread unfounded claims. We've reported extensively on the ragtag team of conspiracy theorists, lawyers, and advisors that the president has put together in order to explore and really push the bounds of what is constitutionally, legal here. But January 6th is a date that we're all watching, and the president and Vice President Pence have had conversations about, how Vice President Pence will oversee the Senate when the time comes for members to actually vote on the Electoral College. Procedurally, it's a bit complicated and it's unlikely to actually materialize, despite the strategy that the president is trying to employ in wrangling members in order to contest the results of the Electoral College. But this president is not going to give up trying, especially as it's boosting his fundraising numbers.
Yeah, that's important. And it's clear that the Electoral College made it official, 306-232, Biden the winner, Trump the loser. That's the official count from the Electoral College. So it's over, 27 days to go until Biden is sworn in as the next president of the United States.